Hi, this is Opaque Gaming, and we're here today to talk about Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is an RPG FPS game with some MMO elements being created by a team of developers known as Battlestate. Up until recently, I'd never heard of Battlestate, but if this game is everything we think it's going to be, Battlestate's going to make quite a name for themselves. Now, the Battlestate team started this project back in 2009. They've been developing this game for years now, and we haven't heard of it until recently. And I think that's a good thing to keep just the user community out of trying to dictate what the game should be, so these developers can continue to put the hard work in and develop the game the way they see fit. And the vision that these guys have is incredible. The realism and the level of effort that these guys are putting into this game is just unheard of. They've been working on this game for 7 years now. That's a long time. I'm going to go over the storyline at a really high level for Escape from Tarkov. You can find more information about the storyline on their website. At a high level, warfare has wreaked havoc in Tarkov, and it's created a massive panic, and most of the people in the city have evacuated. The ones that have stayed are just looking to better themselves at the expense for others. And these people are known as scavs. The scavs have formed their own gangs and divided the city up the way they see fit, and they're even controlling the borders of who comes and who goes. In addition to the scavs, we also have two military groups that have survived the initial stage of conflict in Tarkov. Now, these two military groups are the groups that, when we create our character, we're going to be able to select our player to be in one of these two groups. Now, when we're choosing these groups, we need to keep some basic things in mind. The two groups that we have is USEC and we have Bear. Now, the big differences between these two groups is the USEC military group consists of American contractors who speak English, and they have access to American-made weapons. The Bear group is Russian contractors who speak Russian, and they have access to Russian-made weapons, including the legendary and my favorite AK-47. Taking a look at game modes, we're going to start with story mode. Story mode involves completing various elements of the story so you can progress on to the next element of the story and so on. These are known as side missions. Now, side missions can be optional or be mandatory. The mandatory side missions are called raids, and these raids have to be completed before you can progress on to unlocking what they call free roam mode. Now, we'll touch on free roam mode here in just a second. Let's take a look at raids. This is going to be a really exciting element of the game. The specifics on how many people that can join a raid is still to be determined. Now, when you go on this mission, you're going to take food, water, ammunition, gear. You're taking all the stuff that you need to survive. And anything you take into a raid could be lost permanently. So what does that mean? So if you're to die inside of a raid, everything that you were carrying is now lost. There's no way to reconnect to a raid, go back and reclaim what you've lost. Common sense tells us don't take everything you own into a raid. Take what you need to survive and what you need to invest in that raid. The game gives us what they call storage containers. Now, we can put stuff into a storage container before a raid, so if we die, we can come back to that storage container and replenish our inventory with what we need for the next raid. When deciding what you take with you, you need to be monitoring your character's health. And there's so many elements that you can monitor your character on. You can monitor their hydration, their hunger, their energy, their blood pressure, even blood loss, fractures, contusions, exhaustion, and even tremors, and the list goes on. So for your raid, you want to bring basic ammunition, gun hardware, medications for any illnesses you're suffering from at the time, food, water, all your basic survival resources. Once you've completed all these raids and gone through the story mode, you unlock what they call free roam mode. Now, we don't know too much about free roam mode yet, but we do know that the servers will hold 64 players and that the maps will be 15 square kilometers. And you'll be able to go through at your own pace with no time limits and discover the map, look for loot, complete side missions that you find along the way. The last game mode we're going to talk about is called Arena mode. And this is meant to be like a gladiator mode. This is basically a 1v1 duel to the death. For all the arrogant noobs out there that always think that they are the best and think the response to any argument is 1v1 me, they can finally put their money where their mouth is. An important thing to note about arena mode, just like a raid, anything that you lose in arena mode, if you die, is gone permanently. So use those storage containers, guys. As mentioned earlier, you're going to have quite the arsenal made of Russian weapons and American-made weapons. The level of detail going into the work for these weapons is just incredible. These developers are putting so much effort into making every aspect of the game realistic. They have contracted specialists to come in and show them how to work each weapon, to study each weapon, to understand its recoil patterns, to understand its faults. How does it jam? How does it overheat? And putting these elements into the game. So you as the player, you have to not only take care of your body from a health perspective, you have to take care of the health of your weapon. Your weapon can jam, it can overheat, it can start depreciating and falling apart. So you have to take care of your weapon just like you take care of your body. You can't just go into a room and start spamming and think you can unload 20 clips and you're not going to pay the consequences. A gun wasn't made to shoot like that. You have to keep these things in mind and let your gun cool down so it doesn't jam or overheat on you. That concludes this video. This is my very first YouTube video. Please leave constructive feedback below in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe.